What is up, everybody? It's your boy Flash from ALWT Gaming, At Least We Try Gaming, aka Malachi 36. I am here with Mildewy Carrot. I started off with you this time, my good sir. How are you doing today?
Feeling called out.
Feeling called out? How so?
You started with me. How could you?
I always start with 9 ball. Decide to shake it up. You know what I mean? Shake it like a salt shaker.
All right, fine. I'm doing good. Tired, but good.
I'm right there with you, man. I don't have my Raise Energy drink. I have myself a Dr. Pepper, but y'all already know where to get Raise Energy drinks, and I'll say that in the middle of the show. But until then, it's the 9 ball corner pocket. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm good.
Speak life, my dude. Speak life.
I'm alive.
We're good. We're
Welcome to ALWT Things Gaming Season 2, Episode 9 for 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some very interesting news that's coming up. But before we get into all of that, I want to start off the day with Mildewy Carrot again. How have you been, man? What have you been playing? What's been new with you since we last spoke last Tuesday?
I've been playing a crud ton of Horizon Zero Dawn. There's so much to do in that game, man. So many side quests, side missions, errands, contracts, just getting extra things, finding extra stuff, relics. Just a lot of just extra stuff that they've got in there. Like, it's not even required to do the main missions in terms of level caps and everything, but it's just fun stuff to do to really try and get to know the world and know this new place that Aloy's in and going through. So it just kind of helps, if you really like lore diving and everything, it's really good for that. So I always would recommend it. But yeah, it's fun and it's very time consuming. Like, I've been playing since it came out, and good Lord.
Heard that. Quick little side note. I wonder if anyone has any recommendations as far as a good black cover to have over your window, like just little sheets or whatever.
Blackout curtain.
Yeah,
some
blackout
form
curtain,
of it.
something like that. Like I want to get something here. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I think I'm going to actually take action on that. So, anyone have anything that's cost effective and pitch black, please throw it inside the chat or email us at atleastretry.gaming@gmail.com. On over to you. I'm going to pivot to It's a 9 ball. What have you been doing, man? What's you been up to? What have you been playing? I know we were talking a little off stream as far as what you had completed.
Yeah. Well, I finished Plague's Tale.
Woo!
I know. I'm currently going through, returning to 2 titles. Outside of Master Duel, we're playing Death Stranding.
Okay.
And we're trying to spin back to Dragon Age 1.
Okay. Do you remember where you left off on Dragon Age 1?
I might start over because where I was at, I was in the middle, and I know I had Morgan. I believe he was talking to her mother at the beginning still.
So I was about to say, yeah, if you were talking to her mother the first time, because the second time's optional.
I can't remember if it was the first or second. I remember I was talking to her mother. I think it was still at the beginning when I last stopped.
Yeah. If you were talking to Flemeth the first time, then yeah, that's all part of the story. But if you talk to her the second time, that is optional. You don't have to do that to proceed on with the story. But if you're talking to her the first time, then yeah, you're still pretty early on inside the game, and I would recommend starting over. But do recommend, again, me and Mildewy Carrot had said this on previous streams. Make sure you guys are powering through that beginning portion because it kind of is a grind. It's pretty aged. Midway through, it gets better. And then when you complete, you have a breath of fresh air. And then from there, Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition will just get you... It's flowing and going. It feels a lot better.
It's that nitty-gritty beginning of having to build the house before you can truly get in and enjoy it.
I appreciate that you were just rapping just now. That nitty-gritty beginning. like all of that, Mildewy. I'm all with it. All with the shenanigans. Yeah, and then you said you're playing Death Stranding too as well. Do you know where you're at with that one?
Yeah, I started that one back over as well because it's the controls on that one kind of throw. If I enter in the middle, it kind of throws me off. I don't want to give away too much of the story because I remember where I was at originally, and and I know y'all probably won't know where I'm at. I'm pretty much starting my main deliveries.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my baby and I'm going on my deliveries.
Heard that. What'd you name him? Or her?
You don't name a baby.
We can name the baby. What are you naming him? Or her?
I don't know. I don't know.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you a little context here that Nine Ball has 75 different aliases. All right? 75 plus. I think you can think of a baby name. So, by the end of this episode, I want you to have a baby name on deck. I don't even care if it's Prometheus. All right? Like, I want to have something. And then lastly, before we go on over to what I've been playing, Plague's Tales, what you've been playing. I asked for your own personal opinion. Did you want to do a review video on that, or you just want to tell us what your review is right now?
I can tell you what I'm gonna probably give it.
Okay.
I really didn't think it over. Probably be between a 7.5 and an 8. I liked it. I had some slowdown issues. I'm not sure if that was my computer or the game itself.
Okay.
But you have to be real particular. If you don't like escort missions, you're going to have a lot of escort missions in this. They're not usually like the characters don't feel as cumbersome, but it's a lot of escort missions and a lot of sneaking. So if you don't like stealth games, don't play this one. A Plague's Tale, basically, you don't have a life bar because if you get caught, you basically get one-shotted.
Oh, original Sly Cooper.
Yeah, you get killed. Yeah, most people. Well, it makes sense. I mean, you're like a girl up against like. I mean, I'm not trying to say women can't do nothing.
Yeah.
So
you're like
15,
16.
Yeah, you're like 15, 16, dealing with like a fully got dude carrying a battle mace.
It's a knight. It's a trained knight.
All you need is that chink in the armor and a good shank. That's all you need.
And we're not even going to touch on the rats. God, that is some nightmare fuel right there. The amount of rats you go through and stuff. That stuff gets you in your sleep. And I think too, the end just hit like I don't know. The end was all right. It's just that last boss battle was kind of starting to hit that level of just ridiculousness. I don't want to spoil it, but if you ever see it, it's unique.
Now let me ask you this real quick, because most of us who have PlayStations and all that good stuff was able to get the Plague's Tale game on PlayStation 5 for PlayStation Plus a couple months back. Is this a game that will be that you would be worth playing through again on PlayStation 5?
I could still play it. I liked it. I mean, for me personally, I liked the game. I think it was a very fun game. I think it was. I don't regret not playing the. I mean, I don't regret playing the game at all. I think it was worth a shot, and I'm glad I bought it and gave it a go because it is, for me, it was pretty good. But like I said before, it's a very particular game, and it's not. It's sort of like where another game I'm going to get to eventually, the Medium, and them hit, because this is not going to be a game for everybody. You know, like we played with Ohio.
Yeah.
This is not an Ohio game.
Right.
Because you're not going to. I mean, yeah, you get the means to take people down and kill them, but it's not like you're going to be running and gunning. You can't run and gun on this game. You have to be smart about the items you use, how you use them, and stuff like that. Which brings up another issue somewhat. Let's just say enemy AI. Sometimes you look like this is just ridiculous, some of the stuff they do. From time to time, they're the dumbest rocks or they're like Hulks.
So there's no in between.
Sometimes, yeah.
Is there a difficulty setting on the game?
I want to say there is. I didn't really look into it. I just did it on default setting.
Right.
I don't know why there would be really a difficult setting. You really wouldn't need one unless you make the enemies more aware and can just see through everything.
Well, I mean, that's kind of where I'm getting at, is I'm wondering, because there's a lot of complaints about games of how should they have a difficulty settings, should they be playable for everybody, stuff like that. I think accessibility and entry of play are two entirely different things. If you're blind limbs missing, stuff like that. Yes, we should probably cater to those so that way they're not prohibited from playing these types of games. I do think though, however, that there's certain games such as Elden Ring, which we're going to get to in a minute, that I think that this difficulty should stay like how it is. It's just one of those things where it's just like, hey, this is for the hardcore gamers. This is not something that your random 5-year-old can just pick up and just start playing. Because that's the thing that I kind of get into whenever it comes down to adjusting difficulties. Because that was one of the things about Final Fantasy VII original for Final Fantasy VII Remake. They do have difficulty settings in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Cool, whatever, it is what it is. I'm in that camp that I would have been fine if they didn't have a difficulty setting. Mainly because if I'm away and my son is grown up, or not grown up, but like 6 or 7 years old and he wants to play a video game, he can't just simply put it in and start playing. And if he does, he's not going to get very far because he's not that good at it. You know what I mean? So like, it's almost like another level of parental control if you have that level of being like, hey, this is for teens and above. Literally supposed to be for teens and above. Anything below, not only will they not like it, but they won't understand it because they don't know the mechanics of it. If you have it set to super easy to where you can just walk through the game, anybody could just play that game. Doesn't matter if there's sexual nudity in there. Doesn't matter if there's cursing in there. If you don't want to have a kid exposed to that, there's really not really any ways around that besides just being like, hey, don't play this game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just my little 2 cents about it. I'm in that camp that, again, if the game's too hard, just get good. Just keep trying at it, you know what I mean? But accessibility differently. If you're trying to cater to colorblind people, okay, make that a necessity. I get that. But as far as it just being like, oh, I don't understand it, I can't get into it, just get good. Just practice make perfect. That's me.
Well, for me, it's I see where you're coming from on that. Is certain things that is true about that. I don't believe in catering to all difficulties for people. I believe there's certain games that go for certain people. There's some games I'm a like, you're not gonna like. Like, for example, I'm gonna probably eventually come back to the medium. I do want to play the medium. It's, again, not a game for everybody.
Yeah.
I believe there's games are a lot like music in a lot of ways. There's different genres for different people. I don't believe that they should make a game that should try to cater to everybody, because that's generally how you mess up the worst. Take, for example, one of my favorite examples, Dead Space 3. Dead Space 3 was a okay game. I mean, most people gave it a lot of flack, especially Dead Space fans. But they made it was a pretty, I would say, competent shooter. And it has some scary parts, but not as scary because you could play with it with a friend. But overall, when you do that, it loses its identity, and that's what happened with Dead Space and a lot of those games when they go for let's make a game for everybody. You lose yourself in the shuffle when you try to cater to everybody. I feel like a game should be made for its core audience. A Silent Hill game, because everybody knows I'm a Silent Hill fan, is made for Silent Hill fans.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, we had that. What was that one that came on PlayStation Vita? It was basically a dungeon crawler. It should have never had happened. I can't remember the name of it. Something of Memories. I got it back there. I don't want to talk about it, but it's back there. It was a pretty bad dungeon crawler, but you should never try to make your games for everybody. As for difficulty, I don't really mind it. It's not the biggest thing. For me, it's not really about parental support. I believe that comes down to the parent, and the parent needs to be paying attention. There's certain games I know I let my nieces and them play on my PC and stuff when they show up and come over. But I do monitor some of the games. They go, no, I can't play this game. I know you can't play that game because the game is pretty bad. But difficulty, I believe, can hinder a game. I mean, for example, Dark Souls, like you brought up, Dark Souls, Elden Ring are known. They're notorious for their difficulty setting. I feel like they shouldn't really mess with that. It's made for it's one of the selling points of a Dark Souls game. Otherwise, you're gonna have people saying, "Oh yeah, I beat Dark Souls. they ain't gonna tell you they put it on very easy.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You got. I mean, that's the selling point for them. I mean, just if it's your selling point or it's your big thing, you just leave it out, and the fans of it will understand. The people that don't like it, you can move along. There's plenty of other genres in the video game community, and trust me, you'll find one that fits you.
Yes. I 100% agree with that. And because that was one of the things. Now, granted, again, I was in that camp before they had mentioned Final Fantasy VII Remake initially, where they're like, oh, there's going to be difficulty settings. I was like, oh, man, really? Like, that was one of the, at least for me, that was one of the bread and butters of the early stages of Final Fantasy. Like, when you went to Final Fantasy 7, 8, 10, and you got to those weapons, Ruby weapon, Emerald weapon, stuff like that is the same caliber as a Dark Souls. And those things were hard. Like you felt a sense of pride when you actually beat one. You know what I mean? Like it's just like just getting through the story alone on that. You have some of those enemies that are pretty tough, and it will take you a couple of tries to actually get through. And you're racking the brain as far as how to do X, Y, and Z, and it has a whole other level of problem solving. But yeah, that was that. Looking back at it, Final Fantasy VII Remake. The biggest thing that they wanted to push was the story and the gameplay and how they're going for it, because that story is impeccable. It is absolutely wonderful. Characters are awesome. Gameplay is awesome. Absolutely love it, and I get it. So if you're no longer wanting to go ahead and go the difficulty route, like they had that as an option if you want to go hard mode and stuff. Okay, cool, that's for them. But ultimately, though, like they're really wanting to emphasize on the characters and the vision that they do currently have. I get that. Elden Ring is the game I've been playing. I've been actually playing a couple games, but the two that I've been playing the most is Final Fantasy 14, which I'm level 76 now, I believe. So I'm Final Fantasy 14. Loving that. I'm loving the switch off because they're almost similar, but they're different. And then Elden Ring. Elden Ring, it does one of the things where you're walking through. It doesn't explain anything because they want you to kind of learn as you go and everything like that. But you're walking through. You're walking through. Very first enemy you encounter, a huge boss that you're not supposed to kill. You end up dying, and then it just goes into a cutscene, and you just go on from there. Open the world, and wow, it's just amazing, absolutely breathtaking everywhere. I also made the observation. I don't know if you could do this in other Dark Soul games or Bloodborne. I have a feeling that you probably could, but for me, the first person I saw, he was talking to me, and he looked like a jester. It looked really cool, and I was like, all right, cool. Let me see if I can attack this person.
Oh, God, yes, you can.
Oh, I can attack him? Let me see if I can kill him. I'm hacking him a little bit more. He's just like, oh, so you want to play it like that. Mallet, bam, down. I was like, okay, all right, yeah, so I can't do that.
Yeah, then, on Dark... Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, take it even further. After I died, I had respawn at a point of grace. They're the campfires that's on... Demon Souls and Dark Souls. I aspired at a point of grace. He's still aggroing me, so he kills you again, and that just kept on going. Now, luckily for me, that was my feet in the water run to where I didn't actually want to fight this guy in the first place, but I wanted to see if I could, if I wanted to. So I was going to recreate my character and everything like that anyway, but I went ahead and did it, and I saw that that was very much a mistake, and I would never do that again. Yeah, it's a beautiful game. I'm playing that. A couple things that, and I'm going to do a review about this a little bit later, probably over the weekend or something. A post review, and just a little thing before we get inside the news portion of this. The post reviews is something that's new with ALWT Gaming, and it literally is just how it sounds. So it's the game that comes out, we play it, and then we do a review of our thoughts about it after the game is out. Then we give it a rating on a 10-point scale, and then recommend if we should buy, if the gamer should try it, buy it, anything like that. So I'll be doing my post review on that. I will definitely say that the multiplayer, which I guess this has been a known thing in Souls game, is pretty finicky. Like sometimes it just doesn't work. Like when you're trying to summon someone into your world, you throw it on the ground, you're trying to find the little symbol or whatever. Sometimes it just doesn't show up. Other times it will take a little bit to load in, and then you finally can see it after that, and then you can summon them in. So it's just small things like that. That's a little bit like not part of my taste, because the way that I was getting it was almost like what we did for Remnant from the Ashes, to where we were able to get in and then bam, we're just with each other the whole time. I would love for Elden Ring to have that type of formula. It doesn't. It's very more of the Dark Souls, Demon Souls type. Yes.
Okay, so I have two things. First thing is, I do know about the mistake about that. I'll let you in Dark Souls 3. If you kill the guy that does your sword, he'll come back and he will never work for you again.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I wasn't going to do it anyway, but yeah, but it's good to know.
yeah, yeah. Because the one chick, she'll say something to you if you accidentally kill her. Because I did the same thing. Well, mine was more of an accident than on purpose. I went there with a button. I started swinging myself like, oh, I can hit him. And I was just kind of joking around. Then like, I just not really a problem. I didn't think it saved. But it did. And the guy won't work for you ever again if you do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shoot, now I forgot about the question. Oh, the other question.
Multiplayer?
Yeah, multiplayer. So you have to use like an object for it, right?
Yeah, that was the part that was a little tedious too as well, but yeah, go ahead.
Does it, on Dark Souls 3, you could do that? Because I think me and Mildred did it, but it increases your chances for invades. Can you get invaded on yours?
You can get invaded, yes. Yes, you can. So,
okay.
All right, so the thing is that there's this thing called furled fingers.
Right. Oh, I know. I've seen. Yeah, we used to have just dried fingers.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everything that's like of importance or reusability is finger for some reason. It just looks really blah. But anyway, there's this.
It was used for the potion. It's your fingers. You've got 3 digits. Oh, it's even better. It should be a great potion.
There's the furled fingers and then there's the finger remedies. So if you're summoning somebody into your world, what would have to happen is that if I'm coming inside your world there, Nineball, I would have to throw down the furled finger on the ground, wherever in the area that we're at. Then you would have to go to that same area that I'm at in your world and then do the remedies to find whatever that gold symbol is on the ground. And then once it pops up, you can click interact with it. You can see who it is. And if you're just like, yes, that's who I want, bam, you can bring them into your world and then you guys can go through that area together. And there's a few areas that you can go in. It looks like you can go in the open world, that's the part I was looking forward to. I want to just explore with everybody. And you still theoretically can do that. But the way that we've been playing, like we've been doing some dungeons together, but the way that everyone else has been playing for the most part with Hey It's Abs, Gravity Mark II, Ohio, and Silent, the way that we all been playing is that we're kind of going through our own base story, and then if anybody's having any trouble, be like, hey, let's go ahead and help me out over here. And Silent has been our guru on that because he is a soul. He knows absolutely everying about everything.
He's the soul specialist.
Yeah. He definitely is. So anything that's been out like that, he's been like, all right, yeah, like me and him. I had now keep this in mind. When I was the one that summoned Silent in my world because I was fighting that very first main boss, Godric. All right, and every single time you die after you summon a player into your world, your remedy that you use is just gone. I had 47 remedies stocked up. By the time me and Silent finally beat Godric, I was down to 10. That's how many times we failed. So, and they scale up the difficulty. Yeah, they scale up the difficulty. And it's not like he didn't know what he was doing. He was doing what he was doing. But it's just one of those, like, you get caught one time in a move, you're done for. After the first, 15 times, then I started kind of going one-on-one before I brought Silent back into it, just to try to see this guy's patterns. I was just like, okay, I'm not going to kill him. I'm just going to try to see what he does. I was able to get his whole move set down. I was like, all right, cool, I got it. We brought Silent back in there, a couple more tries, and then bam, we finally did it, and I felt like I was on top of the world, man. Like, it was that moment where I was just like, okay, this game is awesome. So, but enough about that. Ladies and gentlemen, on over to story number 1, which is not even video game related. However, it is still underneath a video game company. Crunchyroll getting more Funimation. Look at that. Lon Pitts from GameSpot says this in their article. Crunchyroll has announced that current and new subscribers will now have access to Funimation's library and new streaming content. This migration will complete the initial promise to fans that would bring together the previously separated services into a single subscription. All the while, Crunchyroll's pricing will remain the same. Quote, when we brought Funimation and Crunchyroll together last year, our top priority was to put fans first, end quote, said Colin Decker, CEO of Crunchyroll. Quote, unifying all of our brands and services under the Crunchyroll brand globally enables us to offer more value than ever before as we combine subs, dubs, simulcasts, library music, movies, manga into the subscription, end quote. If you subscribe to both services, you might be wondering whether you need to keep your Funimation membership. The merger just updated its FAQ to address that, and it recommends that dual subscribers cancel their Funimation charge. Quote, this also means any series in the upcoming spring season, the biggest on record, stay tuned, and beyond will only stream on Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll announced on their site. Moving forward, Funimation will only add new episodes of continuing series, which means Funimation users will want to move to Crunchyroll account as soon as possible. End story. Now, Middle Dewey Carrot, what does this story do for you?
I mean, it's kind of an interesting move, to be completely honest. The reason I say that is because I mean, like I've got both accounts, so to be honest, it doesn't truly affect me too much in terms of like having to switch and pay for a different service because we've already got two. It kind of makes me interested to see, excuse me, what they're gonna do with the whole how am I gonna say this? What they're gonna do with the whole pretty much of like the library of Funimation. I'm pretty sure they're gonna put it into Crunchyroll, the entire stockpile, which would be fantastic because there's a lot of good animes on there that I love and would hate to lose.
Yes.
The second biggest thing though is going to be pretty much how am I gonna say this? Like, I want to know about changes to services. I know they said there's not any right now, but there could be some coming because like they're really like this is kind of like a new thing that they just announced. Like this just came out today, and I feel like that they're doing this. So, and what's also kind of interesting is they say moving forward, Funimation will only add new episodes of continuing series, which means Funimation's users will want to move to a Crunchyroll account as soon as possible. But I'm like, moving forward, they will only add new episodes of continuing series. Like, when you do a merger, normally means that you're getting rid of one of the applications and only using the other. So, are they going to keep Funimation active then, or are they going to like? Is it only going to be used for certain things? Like, that's weird. But also, then I wonder, are they going to be able to upgrade Crunchyroll then? Because Crunchyroll has had some bit of issues with its players and all. It seems it's also its search functions and filters are like a little bit outdated comparative to Funimation's. I would love to see Funimation's capabilities, search functions, and tags being incorporated into Crunchyroll. That would be fantastic. Also, just kind of curious about the number of stuff that they got there in terms of English subs, like English dubs. Sorry, that I want to make sure that they keep because that's really kind of one of the biggest things with my thing with Crunchyroll is that they've got some, but it's not as big of a gallery that Funimation does. So I'm hoping with the merger that not only do we get to keep, like I said, the Funimation English dubs and everything, but we see an increase on that on the Crunchyroll side.
My question.
Going to 9-ball.
I don't want to say question, but my assumption, what I believe is happening here, is that this truly is going to be a merger. Everything's going to be underneath Crunchyroll. The continuation of ongoing animes, I truly believe that there is some sort of contractual agreement for Funimation with the outside company that has to do with animes that's running right now. So you do have Funimation originals that's on Funimation, and they probably have to see that out before they can be like, all right, Funimation's 1,000% completely finished. That's what my thing is. I'm with you right there, is that as far as dubs go, I want to make sure that we still have this quality of English voice actors for us to translate and everything like that. Because earlier, as we're growing up, whenever you heard the Japanese Japanese subs, like they just sounded so cool. The only problem is that they just you had to read. And if you weren't a fan of reading, then you probably weren't getting anywhere with that. But they just sounded so cool. The characters matched each character. Like the voice actor matched each character so perfectly. But then when you get on over to the US side, again, speaking of the earlier times, it was like Goku and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go save the world." Like literally their voices were
It
off.
sounded like a Larry the Cable Guy Goku right there.
It
Like the only thing you were missing at the end was "You're good."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was not fun. It wasn't good. It wasn't until for me I didn't start noticing voice actors, at least English voice actors, having that quality of level and connecting with the character until 2012, which actually was a little bit. Really, I found out about a little bit later, but the anime that I'm referencing came out in 2012, and that's Sword Art Online. When they started having Kirito, like Bryce Papenbrook as Kirito, perfect. Shirami Lei as Asuna, perfect. Like they started having these like quality voice actors and actresses come through, and I don't want to lose that. And I see that a lot. That's one of the things that Funimation has over Crunchyroll. I do see that Crunchyroll is dabbling more in dubs, which I do appreciate, and it is the same dubs that's coming over. So I'm wondering if them both being underneath Sony has something to do with that, possibly. But I don't want to lose that. If you can promise me you don't lose that caliber, and you just bring everything that's under the Funimation umbrella inside Crunchyroll, and if the prices stay the same, or if it's just a slight increase, I understand if they have to increase it at some point. But if it's just a slight increase, I'm for it. I am all for this. 9-ball.
This is weird. I'm probably the only person in this boat that actually like Crunchyroll better than Funimation.
No, I like Crunchyroll better.
No,
than
I
Funimation.
love Crunchyroll. I think they could definitely use some upgrades.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Why the server to me have problem? Now, I'm not going to say it's the perfect place. They had more in the way for me for niche anime. For me personally, I don't particularly mind if it's subbed or dubbed. If it's good enough to watch, I'll watch either or.
Fact.
It's just, to be honest, to me, weird how they're doing it. And it leaves a lot of questions. I don't know why they just didn't migrate it on over, completely over with your watch list and everything else. And I don't understand as to why you just don't make the two subscriptions merge and just go, okay, Funimation and Crunchyroll are the same site. I don't think with the voice acting, it shouldn't really be a problem. They're still technically the same place. It's just they're getting merged into one company. I don't think it's going to affect the voice acting at all.
Well, that's the thing. It could, because Funimation, whatever voice actors contracts that the voice actors and actresses had with Funimation was truly with Funimation. Now they would have to technically, if they wanted to, they probably have to renegotiate for it to be underneath the Crunchyroll live umbrella versus Funimation, since Funimation no longer exists, quote unquote.
But that's the issue. I don't know. To be honest, it just doesn't make sense in a way how they're doing it. So basically, we have to cancel our Funimation instead of them just shutting it down. Yeah, just migrating your list, like your watch list and all that, over the same way I would say I did it with when Crunchyroll was part of Verb at the time. And they kind of just migrated on over, and you can just put your Crunchyroll password into there. And it said, oh, there's your Crunchyroll subscription. There you are. There's all your stuff.
Well,
I would have... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I will say this, though. Because remember, these did take several different steps as far as how this all came to be underneath the PlayStation umbrella. Funimation and Crunchyroll were two they were entirely different things, so maybe they use different codings. I don't know. Maybe they use different setups, and it's just like, hey, we're not going to spend the money to do all this. Just have them delete the account and then sign up with Crunchyroll. You know what I mean? That sounds like it would be the easier solution, and that's something that, as a anime fan, I have no problem doing if everything's going to be under one subscription and I get to pay less.
Yeah, I don't particularly mind for that. I mean, yeah, that's good news for me. I mean, like I said, I'm a particular fan of Crunchyroll. Mm-hmm. I know I have family members and they watch a lot of Funimation, but for me personally, I've always liked it because, simply put, I always found it easier to find, let's say, more niche animes in there. for deep diving. Sometimes you would hit animes that have not launched on Funimation.
Yes.
The
Don
only
Machi's one of them.
Yeah, the only bad thing is what you said earlier. It's harder to find dubs on Crunchyroll.
Yes.
And that much was true. A lot of those was subbed, and one of the issues with it too was being able to actually find the dub version, because sometimes they would have the dub version, but for some it was sort of complicated on Crunchyroll how they would do it. It was just, hopefully, the only thing I'm gonna say is just fix the site. But we're gonna go back. But I feel like this is actually a good move to have two of them over here, to have one big site to go to, other than you have this one over here plus that one over there, and they mostly are showing the same thing besides a couple things different here and there.
Yeah.
And it's good underneath the umbrella of one company to have it set up like that, even if it is underneath Sony, which like I said, is not a big deal to go underneath. And like I said, I'm a huge anime fan. I'm looking forward to it. There's a couple of anime I need to spin back to, but haven't really had time.
And this makes perfect sense too, because one, again, both under Sony, both are showing relatively the same. You said it all right there, 9ball. But one thing that I did not realize until just recently, this was kind of in the works. Like, you saw this working on, like, behind the scenes, because Crunchyroll, the Crunchyroll app, just weeks ago came to Switch. It was never on Switch before. So I think that they were setting the groundwork for that. Be like, hey, go ahead and log in here if you have that. But then also, now that's on all the platforms that they want it to be on, now they can announce, okay, we're getting rid of Funimation. So if anyone that has Funimation right now, you want to think about in the next month or so migrating on over to Crunchyroll. And I think Crunchyroll is slightly cheaper. And
I'm trying to think how much Crunchyroll is.
I have a let me see here, because I actually have a list of my expenses. So let me take a look. Let's see.
Like, hold on. Call the big book. See
Yeah.
now.
Funimation. Oh no. Crunchyroll's $2 more. Yeah, Crunchyroll was
Funimation, I believe, is I was paying. I think it was paying like 60. I think it was 60 a year, 30 or 60 a year.
Funimation's $5.99 a month. Crunchyroll's $7.99 a month. So it's going to be $8 for right now, for the price of Funimation and Crunchyroll together underneath the Crunchyroll umbrella. Is still going to be $8, as opposed to the $14 that I was theoretically paying monthly.
Yeah, and there's the announcement right there. Huge news. The anime world just got bigger.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm all for that shenanigan right there. Oh, what did I do that for? There we go. Boom. All right, cool. I'm excited about this. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with it. I have and this kind of goes inside my number 2, and I'll probably be the odd man out, but we're gonna talk about story number 2 real fast, which is This Is Spartacus. Story number 2, which is Jessica Howard from GameSpot, says this. In a response to Microsoft's resounding success with its game subscription service, Xbox Game Pass, Sony is reportedly buffing up its own service, PlayStation Now, with even more games and multiple tier options. After being revealed by Bloomberg late last year, this new project, internally codenamed Spartacus, seems to be getting closer to completion, as reports regarding its price and contents have now begun to surface. According to a recent report by VentureBeat, PlayStation Spartacus will offer users 3 tiers: Essential, Extra, and Premium. However, according to the report, these names are subject to change prior to the service launching. The first tier on the plan, Essential, will supposedly run players $10 and offers a small selection of games each month, not unlike PlayStation Plus in its current state. The Extra tier starts at $13 and comes not only with the Essential monthly games, but access to a larger catalog of PlayStation titles similar to PlayStation Now. Lastly, the Premium tier includes both of these features, along with PlayStation Now's streaming capabilities, a library of classic games, and the new game trial features, allowing players to try out new games before they purchase them. However, the report states that the trials will likely have a time limit function similar to EA Play. Subscribing to the premium tier is also the most costly option, setting PlayStation users back $16 a month. The report states that, much like the tier names themselves, the prices of the tiers are also subject to change. However, this general outline of what is expected from Spartacus right now. While the program doesn't offer day one releases, it does help strengthen PlayStation Plus and could transform the program into a great rival to Game Pass. After all, just last month, Xbox reported they had reached 25 million subscribers on Game Pass, a staggering number that could rapidly grow once Activision Blizzard joins the ranks. End quote, end story. First and foremost, I want to say this again. I definitely want to start off with this one. If you guys recall, back in 2020, November 2020, I had read on a story on one of our ALWT Things Gaming that Jim Ryan had said that they had an answer to Game Pass. I think that this is the answer he was talking about, but I still would not call this a Game Pass competitor. I do think it's a subscription service, but I was listening to quite a few other podcasts too as well. Kind of Funny Games, as I always listen to them and stuff like that. And Paris Lilly kind of says it best. He's a person that really has a good head on his shoulders when he thinks about. He's an Xbox person first and foremost, but he looks at the bigger picture of everything. And one of the things that he did mention was, would it be nice if PlayStation had day one releases like their God of War, Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima day one on Spartacus? Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be amazing. Does PlayStation necessarily need to do that? No. And the reason why is because it's still making sense of what they're doing. Because again, like I guess right now it's still considered that Xbox is catching up to what they were doing from last gen and all that good stuff. So with that being said, if PlayStation is still on first, they don't necessarily have to switch too much. If they decide to go ahead and switch it, it would mean that, again, more than likely, Xbox has been ruling in all aspects of it, as far as quality of games, as far as state of mind, all of that stuff. I think, again, this is a good deal for us. I think this is a good position for PlayStation gamers. I still think that when it comes down to the best deal in gaming, Xbox still has that rank. Again, you get those day one launches. All Xbox titles day one are on Game Pass. That's amazing. That's awesome. But yeah, so I'm curious to see what this is going to be like. I am in that camp too as well. Still, that I think they could even match it to where you're having the $16 range be Crunchroll's fixed into that too as well. I'm just saying. I know I'm probably the odd man out there, but I wouldn't put it past it. I think that'd be a really good steal right there. Because again, a lot of gamers do happen to be anime fans. Not saying all gamers are. You don't have to be, but it's just a nice little service to have as well. It's a nice little perk to add in there. So just wanted to throw that out there. I want to start off with Nineball on this one.
Well, with this one, I agree with pretty much with almost all you said. This one, like you said, is not really a competitor. I was looking at this and I was trying to read more into it because I'm left with more questions than answers. Yeah, they have a library of classic games and
quote
game trials.
Games.
Yeah, quote unquote classic game trials with a couple of hours to try the game.
Yes.
But it leaves me with a couple of questions, one of which being, will PlayStation Plus be included?
Yes, that is.
It is?
Yes, for all the tiers.
So PlayStation Plus...
Just to try to clarify, is it PlayStation plus the extra tier prices, I'm guessing?
It's, yeah, so that tier price is pretty much what PlayStation Plus is right now. So you get your monthly games, all that good stuff. PlayStation Plus, if you will, is going to be that plus a bigger library, so more or less like PlayStation Now, and then PlayStation Plus is going to be PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus, streaming services, classic games, and then game trials.
So they're no longer doing yearlies then? It's all monthly now?
That's the part that's I think is subject
That
to
is a good question.
that's what I'm curious about because I personally like to do the yearly, just do my
Same.
60, 70 a year and I'm good to go. I don't all this is subject to change, so I really don't know. It didn't sound they didn't report anything as far as it being like, hey, we're not doing you annually. But at the same time, they didn't say that they would either. So I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I like what they're doing. I like the general direction, but I just, like you said, I just don't see it as a viable competitor
It's straight up
to
not.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not.
it's sort of ironic when you think about it because actually PlayStation did it first
But now,
with PlayStation Now. It's
yeah,
just they kind of did it bad because they refused to listen to the fans and just gave them a version of it. I think it was like they said you could only stream games at 720p when when
for
now
yeah,
when now first launched.
yeah,
And as you know, it didn't go well with the fans.
yeah. But even outside of that, like PlayStation's notorious for starting a project that has great potential and then just not seeing it through. You saw it with the PlayStation Move. You saw it with the PlayStation Vita. You saw it with the PlayStation Now. Like all of them have great potential. Ride it out. Spend some money into it. Give it a little TLC, and see where it goes from there. They jump ship too quick. Even for the if you think about the PS4 controller alone, like there was a lot of features that you could have done early on with the controller where you're like blowing into it, doing all the little writing stuff, the little all that, the little, gyroscopes, all that. Nothing. That's why I'm very excited for this generation of PlayStation because the haptic feedback has been sold exceedingly well.
I don't know if you ever remember this, but I was watching a YouTuber. You probably never heard of him, the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Is
And
that
he
where
talked about
Angry Joe's from?
no. This was actually he's one of the first video game people to ever go on YouTube.
Okay.
But he talked about the old Famicom system, and he talked about Zelda because he talked about on Zelda. I don't know if anybody ever played. I know y'all played the original Zelda, but if you ever had read the book, it would say Poe hates loud noises. That's because on the Famicom, the Japan version, there was a mic, and you can yell into the mic in order to damage it. That's why it was a mic on there. And that's why on the book, he said it would say Poe hate loud noises. To Americans, it didn't make sense because the Nintendo didn't have one, but the Japanese Famicom had a mic on it.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm surprised that Sony hasn't really tapped into that. The PlayStation, they may tap into it later. I mean, the PlayStation does have a built-in mic. And I've heard some games ported over, aka I was watching somebody and they talking about the game we play
the
a lot.
PS4 or the PS5.
PS5. PS5 has a mic.
Yeah, I've been using the mic exclusively whenever I play games with you guys. Yeah.
And I know certain games will be increasingly fun for, like, for example, the game we've been playing, Phasmophobia, is there. I guess they're talking about it. I think it is coming to consoles eventually. It will be interesting to have the mic be active on there, especially during ghost hunts and stuff.
Oh my god, the amount of in-house trolls would be ridiculous. Just someone going by screaming Bloody Mary at, and then it's like just next thing you know, the ghost just gets triggered and starts hunting while you're still in the ghost room.
Yeah,
It's like, thanks. It's like, thanks, family member. Thank you. And they're like, you're welcome. Now do the dishes.
Alien Isolation
Yes,
was
Mom.
like that too. You can turn on like the mic feature on there, and if somebody was behind you and made a lot of noise, they could draw the alien out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that got turned off real quick by me when I played.
Yeah, those kind of features.
Too many people were walking by in the area when I was playing that game. It's like, nope.
Yeah, it's so many games that could. I mean, so much stuff. I do like the haptic feedback triggers. It really, really brings the games more to life and stuff, and it really helps to immerse you into it, having more in the way of active weight other than just you just click a trigger and it just does this thing. Have an actual pullback to the guns and all that makes a big difference in the games.
Agreed.
And I do like that they are exploring that more and more on the consoles and doing that, making that more and more of a thing on theirs. But I kind of I veered off. I'm sorry. Well,
No,
you're
good. Yeah. But I was just, just talking
and why am I in
I
Minnesota?
digress. We digress. We're gonna go back to Spartacus. Go back to Spartacus.
Yeah, it's just talking about again, just PlayStation sticking with something because you were talking about PlayStation Now, and now that Game Pass is doing that, so now we're back here. It's kind of again full circle. We're at Spartacus.
Yeah. And I like you said though. I mean, it's not really a competitor. Yeah. I feel like they're going to have to. Microsoft's kind of set a bar, and they're going to have to either meet that bar or this is just going to be a coexisting option with PlayStation. The only good thing is PlayStation has a mass library.
Well, and even with that statement right there, like if they want to go the Game Pass route, then yes, they have to meet that bar. They technically don't have to because, again, the quality of games that they're putting out is literally like studio quality. You're towards the end of Forbidden West, and I know you've been loving it. You know what I mean? Like just stuff like that. We have God of War that's down the road. We have Ghost of Tsushima that's going to be coming out at some point. Ghost of Tsushima 2 is going to be coming out at some point. Like they do have those classics that are like like you're willing to spend the $60-$70 on these games just because they're just that good. Like I don't.
But the problem with that is basically this: why would I get PlayStation top tier Game Pass thing when I'm gonna buy the game anyway? Because you have to buy the game.
Well, that's the thing. What this is, if you're trying to have it as a Game Pass 1-for-1, then yeah, that makes absolutely no sense. This subscription service is, I believe, is going to be more catered towards AA and AAA titles, like more third party stuff. I should say. I don't think it's going to be anything like first party stuff. I think it's going to be like, again, Elden Ring could have came out on Spartacus. Tales of Arise could have came out on Spartacus. Whatever that Shadow Warrior 3 that's going to be day and day on PlayStation Now currently, that could have been on Spartacus. You know what I mean? Like I
gotta play Shadow Warrior 3. I played Shadow Warrior 1 and 2. I got Shadow Warrior 3.
I mean, it looks interesting, but I was about to say it looks interesting, but it is one of those games that is coming. That's the first in a while, first day and date title that's coming to PlayStation Now. So like I see more of that happening. But I like if they were putting their first party on there, then yeah, it makes absolutely no sense to do that. But I don't see them doing that. I think this is just another subscription service that is a nice feature to have to play more games, and then you still get the premium experiences with your God of Wars, with your Horizons, with your Uncharted and your Last of Us and all that. Mildewy.
I mean, you guys pretty much took the whole kit caboodle, put it on the train, and shipped it out. I mean, good lord.
Express shipping, thank you.
You guys used Amazon Express somehow, and I don't know how you did it, but good job doing that. Yeah, my biggest question was just like, because the pricing first off was like the kind of confusing thing. It was like, it will run players $10. I'm like, so we're talking monthly here? Like, is that add on to the PlayStation Now? Can I just do a yearly thing? Like, that's my big question because PlayStation does the yearly stuff, which I prefer,
Same.
One down payment and then I'm good to go.
Facts.
Versus trying to remember, oh yeah, I still have that subscription active. That's draining my account monthly and I haven't used it. It's like, no.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it definitely I agree with you guys. It doesn't seem like a contender for Game Pass. I think they're just trying to get their feet wet. So I don't think they're jumping in to the deep end yet. I think they're going to wade in from the kiddie pool and then they'll work their way as soon as they get used to their floaties and all, to get over there. But, I mean, it doesn't seem like they're doing, it doesn't seem like it's going to be bad, Spartacus. I don't think it's not going to be like the most like holy shit thing that they could do. So, I feel like I said, they're definitely taking their time with this one and kind of walking it down the lane before, besides just taking and dropping off at the bus stop and handing it $20 and saying, good luck. So, but yeah, other than that, not much else. You guys kind of nailed it all.
I do have a prediction. Well, not even necessarily a prediction, but I have a question for you guys. For the people of the court, if you will. Today is March 1st. Okay. My two-part question is, one, is PlayStation going to have a state of play this month? And 2, if they do, are we seeing Spartacus in its full details this month? No, do we?
I'm gonna say there's a slight possibility of seeing a state of play, but probably not towards till the end of March, maybe. In terms of Spartacus, though, if they do give any details, it's probably gonna be kind of what we got here, with maybe just a slight bit extra on like giving like some more information on like what the services inquire with. But I don't feel like we get too much, because it seems like they're still like holding it kind of close to their chest with this one. So I think they're waiting to fully get it finalized and ironed out before they really like talk about it, before they really like announce it saying it's active. So I think until they're really ready to do a release within like a couple months time, I don't think we'll hear too much about it, besides maybe a little plug-in saying we're currently working on it, see, wait for more details coming soon type of thing, kind of like what Nintendo did to us with Metroid Prime 4. Just put the thing says Spartacus and then coming soon, and then that's it.
We're already at the coming soon portion right now, technically.
It's like thanks Nintendo. Like, love you too.
9 ball.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much mostly in the same boat. I mean, if they have it, it would probably be somewhere towards the end of March. I was thinking more towards April for me personally, if they do have one coming up. Mm-hmm. I believe 100% they're going to mention it. You don't throw this in the news and then not mention it. At this point, the kitten's it's out of the box right now. So you really need to sell it and get it ready, so when it comes out, people will know what it is. Not surprise. And what is this? What is this thing on my PlayStation right now? Spartacus, like, I don't watch that show.
I didn't know it's still streaming. Where's the Blood and Sands edition? Why are parental controls coming up? I don't know.
I'm in the same boat as you guys. I personally think that there's going to be a state of play this month. I don't think it's going to be about Spartacus or anything like that. I do think there's going to be a state of play. I have no idea what it's going to be about, but I don't think it's going to be about this. I think that with them announcing, like, with journalists have this coming out, GamesBeat, GameSpot, The Verge, all that stuff happening, I think April probably the earliest we would hear about Spartacus, if it's just something that's just kind of like a, hey, here's a new good deal for PlayStation gamers. I think anything after April, May, June. So anything after May, if we don't get a Spartacus announcement by May, and it's slated to come out on June or July, which is usually around the time period for E3, I think that's the only way that there would be any chance of it being more similar to Game Pass. And what I mean by that is to where, like, if they have some news that they're going to, because E3 Summer Game Fest is where you want to do that at, around that time, I should say, because I know PlayStation doesn't really be messing with E3. But around that time period, I think that if you really have something that you really think you can stick it to Xbox, if you're looking at it that way, that will be the time to do it. If you don't, and it's what we are mainly talking about, so it's just a good tier for PlayStation gamers in general, then you want to release it at this month, next month, or the month after. So that way it's not being like, oh, this is the highlight for E3, or hey, this is the highlight for Summer Game Fest. This is PlayStation's subscription service, and it fell short of Game Pass. Like, that's not the headline you want, So, and on top of that, it's known that that at least for E3 Summer Game Fest time period, it is all about the games. They are talking about new stuff that's coming out, the stuff that they've been working on, stuff like that. So and then game console releases, of course. So unless you have something that's like absolutely stellar, I don't think it's going to be. I think it will happen in the next 3 months, for us to hear more about Spartacus. So yeah,
find out.
Story number 3, but before we get into that, I do want to go ahead and first tell you guys about repsports.com, REPP sports.com. If you guys type in ALWT Gaming at checkout, as you guys are getting your ready drinks, your water supplements, your workout powders, all of that, you guys get 15% off if you type in ALWT Gaming at checkout. Again, that's repsports, REPP sports.com. Type in ALWT Gaming at checkout for your 15% off. But I also wanted to give you guys a little update about our Fantasy Gaming League, which not really much has changed since last week, so I won't bore you guys with all the details on that. But if you guys are looking into following us on that, I will say first place is Moga, which is Make Ohio Great Again, at 56 points. Second place is me representing ALWT Gaming at 29 points. Third place is Zaka Corp at 17 points. You have fourth place is Illuminatus Living at 6 points. Fifth place is Carrot Patch Inc. at 0 points. And then Renzokuken is at 0 points as well, but he has a counter pick of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is why he's currently in last place. This week, I think this Friday actually, this Friday, Gran Turismo 7 drops, which is the next game. Oh, wait, even before that. So same day, we have Triangle Strategy, which is Renzokuken, and Gran Turismo 7, which is Carrot Patch Inc. Those are both coming out this Friday. So scores are going to change. Where there's still a few open spots on several people's lists. I'm the only person actually that has a full list. So everybody else has stuff out that they're kind of playing the field. They're looking out what's about to happen. I get it.
I still feel like you jumped the gun with that.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't have a single regret on any of my picks. Like
I know you don't. You don't.
Yeah, looking at this is a one attractive list right here. Bars. So there you guys have it. ALWT Gaming Fantasy Critic League, if you will. But back to the story at hand. Story number 3. And this is a me story. Alright? So y'all can just kick back, relax, and grab yourself a Heinz or beer or something. Hiren Krier from Games Radar says this in their article. And this is FIFA 23 rumored to be crossplay. This year's FIFA 23 will be, and by the way, FIFA is probably not going to be called FIFA, just so you guys are aware about that. I know it's a whole licensing issue, but there's a good chance it's going to change its name from, EA is going to change its name more than likely. But this year's FIFA 23 will reportedly include crossplay, and that could mean big things for Madden, NFL, and other major sports games. Yesterday, on February 28th, Xfire reported that the unannounced FIFA 23 will include crossplay for all platforms. According to Xfire sources, FIFA 23 will introduce crossplay for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox platforms across every single in-game mode, so it won't be a case of trialing the new feature before it's properly rolled out. If a new report is accurate, this will be the first time any EA-published sports game has attempted to crossplay between any two systems. Currently, EA develops and publishes the Madden, NFL, and NHL games in addition to FIFA, all three which see annual releases, as well as EA Sports UFC series, which last saw a release back in 2020. The new implementation of crossplay could have a knock-on effect for EA's other sports franchise. It's not unreasonable to expect EA to explore similar crossplay possibilities with their NFL and NHL franchises should this experiment go down well with FIFA crowd. FIFA 23 wouldn't be the first major sports to adopt the crossplay. That honor belongs to Sony's MLB series. So there you go with that. I'm excited about that, and that was one of the things that I literally have been saying for the past couple of years. Actually, I've even said it for the past couple of streams that we've done whenever something like FIFA or whatever like that comes up. I understand that there's certain games you just don't do crossplay on. I get it. I'm still the type of person that if there's a multiplayer mode online, they can co-op with your buddies. I would like to have that, but I understand it. But for when it comes to sports games, I don't think there was an excuse back in 2015. I feel like that those should have been crossplay from the get-go. There's really not much of a difference between any of the games when it comes to sports games. They've been the same for the past 5-6 years. Like, they've been pretty much the same. You change the small little things, Madden's really doesn't change its formula at all for every 2 years. So like this past Madden was the same as the last Madden. It was literally exactly the same.
Every 2 years.
Yeah,
it's
every
just
2
a
years.
prettier package.
Yeah,
It's just a prettier package every year.
I was about to say, each year it's 2 years because
it's been the same pretty for a very long time. But I know that they switched their formula every 2 years technically. Like you had X factors both times last year and this year. They added a little bit more to this one because you were able to get the stadium involved now, which is a cool feature. But at the same time, I was just like, come on now. Like, what else can you do? Go ahead and let us be able to play with our friends on other platforms. I think that's the only way that will kind of more or less justify you buying it yourself a $40, $50, $60 to $70 game. This is really like $60 and $70 at this point, but yeah, that's my thing. Yeah. So, and for anyone that is a sports fan, I know that Madden 22 is now free on Amazon. So you guys can add that to your library, and it's also currently on Game Pass. So there you go. Any commentary on that? I know you guys are not really huge sports fans, but if you guys have any input?
The only thing I'm going to say, it better be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see, like you said, I don't see why it's not.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's annoying that it took this long, but I'm happy that's finally happening because now I can play with my buddy, Jake. He's on PC. He's switched on over from PS4 and became a PC gamer for a while now. The only games that we can play together with him is Call of Duty. That's like the only game we've been playing, but now we can bring FIFA into the mix, and that's how I met my buddy Jake, was through soccer. So just like, it just makes sense. Story number 4. Activision Blizzard getting sued. Dun dun dun. Eddie Macic from
Weren't they already getting sued?
I know, right? Eddie Macic from GameSpot says this in their story. An Activision Blizzard shareholder is suing the company regarding of the Call of Duty publisher's proposed sale to Microsoft for $68.7 billion. Shareholder Kyle Watson filed a lawsuit in California recently with lawyers saying the proposal is, quote, unfair for a number of reasons, end quote, according to Polygon. Among the claims listed in Watson's lawsuit is that Activision Blizzard's board of directors is trying to obtain, quote, significant and immediate benefits, end quote, with the proposed sale to Microsoft instead of considering what might be the best interest for the company overall. The lawsuit also claims that Activision Blizzard's statement filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission on February 18th is, quote, materially misleading and incomplete, end quote. It further claims that the Activision Blizzard board failed to create the independent committee composed of disinterested directors to run the sales process. The February 18th statement laid out a very specific timeline of how the deal went down and contained many revelations, including how multiple other companies tried to buy Activision Blizzard, and that CEO Bobby Kotick is reportedly to receive a golden parachute payout. The statement goes on to say that Activision Blizzard's proxy statement regarding the deal is materially deficient, deprives plaintiff of the information necessary to make an intelligent, informed, and rational decision of whether to vote in favor of the proposed transaction, and 'tis thus in violation of the Exchange Act. Who wants to start this one? Because that was a lot of reading just now. who wants to take that?
Oh my god! I mean, I love this one. I don't know if this is actually good news for Activision Blizzard and all the stuff they went through. If that's the worst you're getting sued for after for like literal sexual assault and everything else, and this is the worst, I mean, it's probably like Papa Champagne.
Papa Champagne. Wow.
This ain't gonna stop nothing. I don't even know why he wouldn't sued. I mean, most people knew. Most people I watched that were like, even when I watched Bel Air and all those, they was talking. And most people know Bobby Kotick is getting a gold. He's getting a payout. Yeah. He's not. He's just getting the money. They're gonna basically, as soon as they take over, they're gonna give him basically a retirement package and send him out.
And that's the part that I think is BS. I don't think companies should be like, if you obviously something comes out of it, they shouldn't be able to get paid out for that. If anything, they should be put in debt. Like, you owe the company X amount for violating XYZ.
Yeah, that's the business world, though. It sucks.
It absolutely does suck, because there's other people that could use that money for better causes than what you're doing, being a prick. But go ahead. I digress.
Most of this, they knew about this stuff. It's nothing new. I mean, I think this is just some guy saying it's unfair. It's not really going to go for it. Activision's not even worried. Even if it makes it to court, how much is he going to get? I'm going to go top tier, punitive damages, $5 million. Xbox. Microsoft has what? $1 trillion. You think they're going to miss that? I mean, he probably drops $1 million bill on the street or something and just hand that to that guy over there.
Like, I thought I had a quarter somewhere.
Oh, they only know what a quarter is. Like,
exactly. How much is a gallon of milk?
Don't want to talk about the half dollars.
I found this silver thing. What are we supposed to do with this?
Yeah. What cabin does this go to?
What's this money you talk of? Don't you use bitcoins?
Something else.
Yeah, they don't even look at the gas price. They just fill it wherever they feel like. So that's like $7 a gallon.
You have any commentary there, Mildewey?
I'm kind of with Nineball. I don't. I mean, he's probably doing it to call it out, like, and just trying to get something from it, because maybe, like, I don't know, maybe like whatever deal's coming forward with it, however they're doing whatever merger directors go through and all that. I've got no clue on business terminology or proposition at all. But he's probably doing it because he feels like he's not going to get enough out of it or something. I don't know. It could be that, or it could just be that he really is trying to blow a whistle and trying to get something stopped. But it's like, I don't see this being stopped at all. Like Nineball said, you know, like, you know, you see about it was partially set to receive one parachute, you know, because other companies did try to buy Activision. Like, we all knew that. We all knew it.
Titans like this about every company. I can bet almost every company. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony, Nintendo, the whole kid and caboodle, maybe even EA may have shown up.
Oh yeah, they did. But then Daddy Gates walked in with big old money back pockets and said, "All right, when's the bidding start?" And they're all just like, "Forget it." I mean, to be honest, I would have kept bidding just to raise his prices up and then pulled out and made him pay like over $500 billion for it, and then be like, "Yeah, I can still do that." We're like, "Good, burn the money.
They're gonna want to
burn the money."
Well,
that's why I'm not allowed in auction houses anymore. I raised the prices too much and then back out.
Here's the thing for me. Here's the thing for me that I find very, very frustrating. It's a business practice and so tied to legal. That's what it is. Like, I bet you, because again, like any sane normal, if you look outside looking in, if the person at the top is being cancerous, you remove them. You don't pay them out. You just remove them. But I know what this is. I know this has to do something with legal and business, and that's something that just needs to be re-looked at and readdressed. That's really what it is. If you don't reward, I mean, that's what Bobby Kotick is getting right now. He's being rewarded for leaving the company. Like, you're still getting a lot of. That's so much bull crap. That is so much crap. That should not be. He shouldn't get a dime when he gets fired. He shouldn't even be there right now, really. But I don't know, and maybe if that's what the shareholder's trying to do, maybe he's trying to stop that. But I'm in that same camp with you guys. I don't think anything's going to happen from it. But it's just one of those things that it's just like, I don't know if this happens in other parts of the world.
It does.
It's just a really terrible practice that needs to be reevaluated and stripped from the inside out. Like, we need to make sure that we're rewarding people that do good jobs, and people that do crappy jobs, they shouldn't see a dime of anything. They didn't.
The biggest problem is basically the FTC. It's like, I was watching the thing, but the FTC is so far behind. A lot of this stuff, with a lot of this business practice, that stuff is so old fashioned, and it's so, like I said, so far. They just now are starting to look in a video game direction. For the longest time, they really didn't care. Heck, like, I was watching one guy, he was talking about that, like, they just realized about Facebook and Instagram. And finally, after, how long have those two been together?
Yeah, for a while, yeah.
Yeah, they
For a very
finally
long while.
finally starting to look at them like, hey, maybe those two shouldn't be merging and monopolizing the business. And they've been there for God knows how long.
No, here's the thing that really like also sheds the light on this too as well. Do you guys remember a couple years back? I mean, I'm talking years, probably at least 10. I said a couple, but years back when you bought your games online, it didn't matter where you were from. There was no tax. You guys remember that? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's because now as video games are rising in the ranks, people are getting paid from playing video games and stuff like that. They're seeing that profit and they're like, okay, like now we want to get our hands inside this pie too as well.
Well, that's too because the internet sales in general, they've been going up and the amount of people shopping online has accelerated, and COVID just made it even worse with that online shop. Well, I'm not going to say worse. It's just it became more frequent now. It took them God knows how long to realize that we can make money from this, and then decide, well, we're going to just tax you online. Heck, they don't even know how to really regulate Bitcoin right now.
Bitcoin's so fluctuational, though.
Yeah, they don't know what. They don't know what to do with it. They still trying to figure out regulation.
TVF Abyss say, yeah.
Yeah, that's Abyss in the background.
All right. Well, enough about that. Let's go on over to a little bit more positive, maybe. On here, Steam Deck review story number 5. Alessandro Barbosa from GameSpot says this in their article. Ever since the launch of the Nintendo Switch back in 2017, the perception of what a handheld game device can be has changed. No longer are handhelds regulated to good hardware trapped by inherently technological limited games. Instead, they're now capable of letting you take console quality experiences on the go. There's been an explosion of similarity compact PC devices attempting to mimic the success of the Nintendo Switch by letting you take your PC games library with you anywhere, with some mixed results. While there are great devices out there now, such as Aya Neo Pro, they are still limited by the capabilities of mobile hardware, while also costing a lot more than its performance suggests. However, Valve's Steam Deck addresses both pitfalls entirely, with cutting edge hardware, thoughtfully designed ergonomics, and satisfying controller layout, and a software layer that simplifies PC gaming. The Steam Deck makes it a breeze to link your Steam account and get started with your library on the go. Better yet, it comes in at a reasonable price, starting at $400 and reaching only $650 for the highest tier model, essentially half the price of its closest competitors. While that alone is impressive, it's in how well the Steam Deck performs that it becomes clear that it doesn't have much competition at all. With the AMD Zen 2 and RDNA 2 APU, the head and shoulders above the Intel Xe and Radeon Vega-powered portable gaming devices that made it to the market in the first place, creating a situation where you shouldn't really be looking at an alternative if you can get your hands on a Steam Deck. End quote and story. So, I personally have been looking up a couple of reviews online. One of them was from Jeff Grubb from GamesBeat, and he is completely in awe of the Steam Deck. I'm actually going to go there right now. Nineball, you went ahead and purchased your Steam Deck online. I know you're getting yours in Q2. What are you expecting from this thing?
I'm expecting a lot. I've seen it looks fantastic. From what I'm hearing, it plays amazingly. I just read some ratings earlier today, and I think they rated it an 8 out of 10, which is great for the hard drive. And the price, like they said, is really good. Most of the other ones I've been checking, like on Amazon and stuff, most of them are between $1,300 to $1,500. A Steam Deck is all theirs plus have, like I said, half that price. It's really good. I've heard complaints so far of stick drift, but I don't know how accurate that is yet from some of the first ones. But I'm not really sure, so I'm not gonna really go into it yet. But the library's I want to say it looks pretty decent for starting, and it's going to get bigger as you go on, as more and more look in that direction and put more and more into it. I feel like this is the right idea for Steam, because to be honest, a long time ago, Steam tried this before
With the Steam
with
box.
the Steam machine, there's Steam machines, but it was a mess.
Yeah.
The Steam machines were just a total mess. There was so many different types, so many different models, made by so many different people. You didn't know which one was a good one.
Yeah.
And they have been trying to get it more into the household. We have like this Steam link, which let me see if I can find it. Where this comes from, I don't know. Yeah,
Steam controller.
yeah. Steam
I remember they had a deal a long time ago. Like you get like ice, like the game Ice with like
that's when I got
Steam
mine.
controllers.
I got ice and this for like $7.
I was gonna do it, but then I decided I was like not to, and
I still got my Steam link because it's right there.
They had a deal with that too.
Yeah, you could just string. Well, what it does, it allows you to use it has like controller ports. Like I could put like PlayStation or Xbox controllers in these ports, and you could just stream your games from your thing to your TV.
I went ahead and pulled up the Games Beat article here from Jeff Grubb, and this is what he said about his review on this. Valve is actively rolling out Steam Deck systems to people around the world. I've had one for a few weeks, and I'm still diving into many of its features. The latest feature to impress me is the Steam Deck's excellent built-in microphone. This should make the device a great way to play games online with friends, as long as those games work on Valve's handheld. But popular games like Elden Ring already work, and this is what you will sound like in the if you hear Solitude Crew if you use the Steam Deck. And he has like a little audio on there, which you guys could go to venturebeat.com, go to Jeff Grubb's article, and you guys will see it there. And if you guys want to listen to it, the Steam Deck also has two mics built into the face of the display. You can see two tiny notches at the top of the screen if you look closely. The device uses these mics for both record your voice but also detect and eliminate background noise. Of course, the mic will sound different when going through the compression of the Steam's voice chat. The good news, however, is that you can run Discord in the background without much effort. I tested that, and I'll be writing a story about that soon. For now, I'm impressed by the Steam Deck's mic. It sounds crisp and clear for the communication, but you also won't sound out of place if you end up on a friend's Twitch stream. For example, it is yet another high quality component that feels supremely well considered out of Valve's hardware engineering and design teams. And then scrolling down a little further, that's something else. So yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But yeah. Jeff Grubb and this one definitely has been digging the Steam Deck for sure. I am definitely curious to see how that's going to turn out, but I do want to. Oh, here's another one right here. This is it. This is the real one I was looking for. He did say, stop comparing the Steam Deck size to the Nintendo Switch or any other dedicated gaming handheld. Valve Software has delivered a cutting-edge handheld PC with mind-blowing specs at even more mind-blowing prices. And in the context, this is a tiny gaming powerhouse that is going to change the way I play games forever. The Steam Deck launches today, for whatever that means. You needed to pre-order it months ago for a chance to get one by the end of this year, let alone by the end of March. But the device starts at $400 and goes up to $529 and then $649 as you add more and faster storage and extra features. But even that base model comes with a powerful and efficient AMD Zen 2 based PCU and RDNA 2 based video chip. You also get a massive 16 gigabyte of speedy LPDDR5 memory and a menagerie of output options. I don't even know what that word is. With all that, you get to experience games on a 7-inch 1200 by 800 screen. There, yep. And it has even more how the Steam Deck fits into my life. Is it too big? Steam Deck is just so darn good at playing video games, stuff like that. Yes, Jeff Grubb absolutely loves this thing, as you guys can kind of tell and hear from that.
I'm happy for Steam Deck that it's coming out. Like, I'm glad that it's doing so well that we're able to get Steam PC games to people who probably don't have the capability of getting a higher end PC and all.
Yeah.
You know, I'm definitely happy for that. I'm definitely glad that they're doing that. What I don't, it's more just me as a personal PC gamer. I play on such a higher end of PC scaling. So for me, the Steam Deck would be just that thing that I could take to go if I did it. It's a downgrade. One, it's a downgrade, but two, it's that thing you could pick up and go, like if you go on vacation or somewhere, or traveling out somewhere, to have on your hand. But if you're most of the time, if you're just at home, or you can wait an hour to get home, and like just to play your games, it's not that big a thing. I'm not trying to put people off the sales. I'm really not, because if you don't have a PC, it acts as a PC, guys. Literally, it does. Like, it's got an OS system on it. You can install Windows on it if you want to. You can remove the Linux, install Windows. You can run it as a PC. It's going to run as a low-end PC, but it's a PC still. And then you can still download Steam and play the Steam games, that are compatible with it. It's awesome. I love it and approve of them for doing that. Nintendo, take note. But for me, as like a hardcore PC gamer, or I call myself hardcore one, but I am not the most hardcore one. Like those people are. They shell out the money for their rigs. But I like my build in having the amount of space I do have, and then also having the capability of being able to do handle all my mods and other games and everything that I've got on there, and also be able to play all of the library. Because right now I do know it's limited. It's not fully limited. Like, there are a lot of games in the Steam Deck that can be played. It just I would look through, and there's some of the ones I really want to play that aren't on there yet currently, and that really is on the developer side. So, as Nineball I think says, like, as time progresses with the Steam Deck being out and all, I'm pretty sure more and more developers will start migrating their games over to it, which will make it even better to begin with. So, I'm gonna say, starting off with, if you're a first time PC buyer, like getting into the PC gaming world for the first time, Steam Deck would probably be the most fantastic thing for you. If you're one who does a lot of traveling and wants to have your Steam games with you on hand, even better. Go ahead and just drop one and get it. But other than that, I mean, I'm not negative to this deck at all. I'm more of a practical and cautious person on these things. So for me, a Steam Deck kind of really wouldn't work too well. But for someone who's out traveling around and all, or just getting their hands first time, or doesn't even have the capability of buying a rig, that like Nineball and myself have, or the one that we got you there, Malachi. It's definitely, it's like what, $600-$700 for the most high end tier one.
Yeah,
$675.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's cheap, guys, in terms of some of the higher end rigs that you can get, or some of the better rigs that you can run. Unless you're getting discounted box open parts, which is really not recommended. That's at your own risk.
Don't everybody use parts.
Yeah. It's really not recommended, but there are people who risk it.
Risk it for the biscuit. We're not going to risk it.
That's a soggy biscuit.
What we're not going to risk is story number 6, which is some fun ones for you guys. PlayStation Plus games and Xbox Gold games. So just a real quick one, because we got 2 minutes left, and then that's actually the end of the show. So on here, PlayStation Plus games, Demi Williams from GameSpot says this in their article from GameSpot. March's PlayStation Plus games free are now live now. Subscribers can claim 4 games: Ghost Runner, Ghost of Tsushima Legends, Team Sonic Racing, and Ark Survival Evolved. So all the games.
Like the last one.
Mm-hmm. All the games are, all 4 games are available for free up until April 5th. So make sure you add them to the library this month. Again, that's Ghost of Tsushima Legends. So if you guys have Ghost of Tsushima, the initial title, you guys already have Legends, so you guys don't have to worry about that. But more of your friends guys can jump in with you. Team Sonic Racing, y'all don't want to see me in that, because that was my jam next to Mario Kart. Ark Evolved, which is that MMORPG back in the prehistoric era.
MMORPG. Well, I mean, it has MMO capabilities, and it depending upon server based. Think of it's pretty much just like Jurassic World with steroids.
Well, it's not a strategy. Like it's not real like a RTS or anything. Like you're actually first person. It's closer to Conan.
It's Conan mixed with Jurassic World.
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much. So pretty much like the mechanics of Conan replaced with the overlay of Jurassic World and having T-Rexes being able to own your ass.
Right, yeah.
And you not even knowing that they're there until they're there.
And then Ghost Runner is a free download, but it is only on PS5. So if you guys do not have a PS5 right now, I would highly recommend you use the PlayStation app trick, which is literally go inside the PlayStation store on your app, go to the PlayStation Plus selection, and then add it to your library. Because I don't think it will show up on the actual console. So make sure you guys are doing that through your phone app if you don't have a PS5 but want to have Ghost Runner for the future for when you do get a PS5.
Pretty sure you can also do that on PC PC as well on their website.
Yeah, the little PlayStation app on PC. Yeah, I believe so too as well.
Like you just log into their site though. I'm pretty sure you can do it with just a login.
Even better.
I would think. I haven't tried it. I use the app.
Same. Well, we don't have to use the app because all three of us have PS5s.
Well, if I'm away from my system, I use the app.
Xbox Gold is Dan Hickey from Xbox Wire says this. It is time to announce the March games for Gold lineup. On Xbox One and Xbox Series X/S, we have The Flame in the Flood, which is available now. Street Power Soccer, which is available on the 16th. Sacred 2 Fallen Angel, which is available now. And SpongeBob's Truth or Square, which is available on the 16th as well. So if you guys have Xbox and any of those games tickle your fancy, make sure you guys add it to your library.
I like Flame in the Flood, so I'm actually kind of happy that that's going to someone that they'll be able to play it. It's a very linear but nice survival style game, so I enjoy it.
Can't believe you said tickle your fancy.
Tickle thy fancy. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 9, season 2 of ALWT Things Gaming with your ALWT Gaming crew. I have been Flash36. He has been It's the Nightball. He has been Mildewy Carrot. This Thursday we're going to be resuming our SIN segment. That's right, it is Strength in Numbers. We're going to be playing a game. Yeah, we're going to be playing a game from 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until roughly about 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are going to play that game every Thursday around the same times, if not sometimes earlier, until we complete that campaign-style game. So we will let you guys know what that game is mañana. Until next time, everybody. Control. Alt.
Complete.
Complete.
Peaceums. Love you guys.